As many of you know, we just closed on Villa Hermosa. The plan was to close on that and then continue the funding process to finish the renovations and get the project done. Worked out to be perfect timing. We closed on it, market's changing. We had 2 residents that gave notice right after we closed escrow, took ownership of the property, which worked out well too, because it kind of felt a little weird giving out notices for renovation right when this was all happening with the whole virus issue. So we had 2 residents that were under the old ownership that knew they were going to make some changes, and they came to us and said they wanted to leave. So we're starting that renovation now. We expect to be in full renovation through the summer, and we're starting to demo those 2 units. I think we're starting next week. Do a lot of the exterior stuff, get through all the work that we can get through on the property, and then work with the existing residents unit by unit. The good thing is we have another property around the corner, Venture on Marlette, that's finishing up. You offer them a good alternative of a place to move into. Obviously, other places in the area they can move into, but that's going to work out well for us.
Yeah, and I think one of the other big things is that the initial plan is to run this property as a short-term rental, and that still looks good and I think is a good prospect. But at the same time, the long-term rental, the regular apartment leases, have kind of moved up market from when we were initially looking at it. We initially thought we could rent these units renovated for $1,250 per unit, and we've actually moved that up to $1,450 per unit based on comps in the neighborhood.
And that's for traditional rent. That's for not short-term rental. That's regular rental.
Year lease, six-month lease. So we've always had that in mind with this building, that we could operate as a short-term rental or we could operate as a long-term rental. We like having plan A, B, and C in place, and now that those rents are moving up in that neighborhood, and we're bumping up our expectation from $1,250 to $1,450, it looks better as a long-term rental than it did before, and that just gives us another option. So we don't have to make that decision now. We have about 6 months to do the renovation, and as we get closer, we'll make that determination.
It's the same process. We're renovating the units, and we're done with it. We'll decide whether or not we're going to go out and spend the money on the furniture. That's it.
And I was at the property today. I still really love the property. Drive down the middle of the private driveway, and it feels like a little neighborhood. So really excited to see what we can do with it. It does need a lot of work, and I'm excited to see what our team does.
Lipstick and eyeshadow. I'm not like tearing the whole place to shreds. It's a solid building. It just hasn't been touched in 30 years with any major renovation.
Yeah. So we look forward to keeping you updated with our renovation updates. You'll get a video once or twice a month, and as we get into the renovations, you'll start seeing those. We look forward to having you as an investor on this project, and then every quarter we'll do a quarterly update where we'll kind of sit down and give a more broad update and disclose kind of our financials of that quarter, how they're trending, how our budget's coming together, and that way you're informed and you know everything that's going on as one of our investors.